Hello my friends, James Heathers, the Psychophysiologist. How are you? I hope you are fine. Holiday edition, part the third, I think. Still too lazy to sit down and write. Too much other shit on my mind. And it's Boxing Day. I have a carbohydrate hangover and I'm about to work it off. I thought I'd take advantage of this opportunity to show you a piece of exercise equipment that there are a few videos of on YouTube, but not that many. And there's not that many people who you can meet who'll actually use one of these things. So I don't think they get enough exposure. And it's a shot-loading mace. As in, it's exactly the same as an old globe barbell from the 19th century. It has a hollow end. An iron shot, not lead. Lead is poisonous. It's heavier, but it's poisonous. Iron shot goes into the head to weight it. It's an extremely effective piece of equipment when you think about it this way. It's 4 foot long. All the weight is at the end. If you're swinging it, the length of the implement is being multiplied by the mass that's at the end to get the torque. How much torque is there? Quite a lot. It's also got quite a thick handle, which means it can be quite challenging on the grip. Maybe not so much when it's not loaded, but when it is loaded, watch out. It can fly across the room. It's a fantastic piece of equipment. I love it. I use it all the time. You can use it to warm up, warm down, or actually do main exercises. It's super. But I never see people talking about it. And I think it's really super top, so I want to talk about it for a second. I'm going to show you how to load it up, and then how to unload it. And the two things that I use that make it an extremely straightforward and simple process. So if you want to get a mace, getting weight into it and getting weight out of it is totally straightforward. Now, here is my fella. Like I said, 4 foot long, quite a thick handle. Now I got pretty big hands and they only go that far around. So it's maybe 3 centimeters across. It's not quite thick bar territory, but it's much thicker than a normal barbell. So I suppose it's about 1.5 inches in diameter if you're an American and you haven't got to the metric system yet because you live in the dark ages. Sorry, my septic friends, but you do. The head's completely sheer for the most part. The last thing you want is when you're swinging it round is the bastard catching on something and ripping it open, and it will. How you get the weight in is extremely simple. It has a grub screw. The grub screw comes out of the head, and the head is hollow. Now, if we're going to get weight into that, and this is a 79-cent Kmart bucket full of iron shot. Hope you can see some iron shot in there. Yes, you can. Okay. So, we need to get the shot into the head. What do? Innovation number 1. This is half a perfectly normal soft drink bottle. Well, I don't drink soft drink, so a mineral water bottle in this case. We pop the top off. It is both the scoop and the funnel. All you need to do, you need 2 hands for this, so I'm not going to show you properly. Scoop, block, and then this is actually going into the mace, pour. Easy, scoop, pour. Now, I do it on feel because I'm not particularly hung up about whether or not it's exactly 16.5 or 16 kilos, etc., etc. Who gives a stuff? I put weight in the head until it gets really super challenging and then use it till my arms fall off. Hey, straightforward, gotta love it. So, that's all you really need. There's probably a number of ways you could actually use a funnel, but I haven't found anything that works as well as this. And if you get a really big one, you can fill the whole head up in a couple of scoops. If you use both hands, it's an extremely neat process. The thing that you'll find about iron shot in general is that the stuff can get everywhere. And anyone who's loaded shotgun shells will tell you what a pain in the arse it can be if it ever gets off a bench. If that does happen, innovation number 2, horseshoe magnet. You're thinking, what's a horseshoe magnet for? Well, you can probably figure it out by now. At some point in time, you will spill iron shot because it's a pain. They're tiny little 3mm balls. If they fall off the bench, or they fall on the floor, or they're in the grass, God forbid, they're really easy to pick up with this, and almost impossible to pick up any other way. The last thing you want to do is try using a vacuum cleaner or picking them up by hand. They're friggin' tiny. But if you spill even a whole handful or a whole kilo of these things with a magnet, done. You can pick up whole kilos in a few seconds if you've got a magnet. Obviously, this doesn't work with lead shot. It's not only toxic, it's also non-ferrous, so you can't actually pick it up. So, with a simple addition of half a pop top, and there's an example right there, and a horseshoe magnet. You can have the weight in and out of this thing as fast as humanly possible, and you can kick your own ass in style. Now, that's all very well. What do we actually do with it? Well, at some point in time, probably in the next month or so, we're going to make a training video with this, because we have a lot of exercises that we've invented or co-opted from other forms of equipment that we use the Mace for. And I don't see them anywhere else. So at some point in time, I think people will get if you've got a Mace hanging around and you're not quite sure what to do with it, there's probably a few people who've bought them who've swung it around a few times and gone, right, well, okay, that's a waste of money. It is a little challenging and it can be a bit weird. There should be something there. So when part 2 comes up, we'll show you what to do with it as well. Should be good fun. See you then.